Hi everyone, welcome. You are watching Eagle News. I'm Ralph Cornell in Washington. It's Saturday, April 2nd, 2022, here in the nation's capital. Our coverage begins now. A historic move by the White House in tackling the rising cost of fuel brought about by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The United States will be releasing 1 million barrels of oil per day from the country's oil reserve. The White House says the scale of this release is unprecedented. It added, the world has never had a release of oil reserves at this 1 million per day rate for this length of time. This is part of a two-pronged plan to ease the burden Americans are enduring at the pump and in their homes. In a statement, the White House says at the start of the year, gas was averaging $3.30 a gallon. Current prices reach over $4.20 a gallon. America shows disapproval of Russia's invasion of Ukraine by banning the import of Russian oil. When it did, President Joe Biden warned of the impact that move would have in the lives of Americans. In other news, Facebook owner Meta has released user information to hackers who pretended to be law enforcement officials last year. Reports reveal that imposters were able to get details like physical addresses or phone numbers. They did so by falsifying emergency data requests, meant to be used by law enforcement in urgent situations. According to cyber expert Brian Krebs, criminal hackers have been using email accounts or websites tied to police or the government. In the request to social media companies, they claim they cannot wait for a judge's order for information because it's an urgent matter of life and death. Bloomberg News Agency, which originally reported Meta being targeted, also reports that Apple has provided customer data in response to forged requests. Apple and Meta have not officially confirmed the incidents, but have provided statements citing their policies in handling information demands. Meanwhile, 1,000 qualified residents of Los Angeles County have a chance of having their pockets breathe a little better for the next couple of years. Lila Agbulang reports.
Los Angeles County is trying a new program that could eventually result in a guaranteed income for people living below the poverty line. Los Angeles County has announced a pilot program called Brew to help people struggling to buy food and pay for other necessities. And the county is hoping it will help some low-income families be able to breathe easier when it comes to finances. Applications are being accepted for the next 2 weeks. The county will randomly choose 1,000 people from among the applicants who will receive $1,000 a month for the next 3 years. To qualify, applicants must be over 18 and have a household income that qualifies. The guidelines are on the county's website. Applicants must not be enrolled in any other guaranteed income project. Only one person per household can take part in the program. The county won't put any restrictions on how the money can be spent. Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors Chair Holly J. Mitchell says it's time to trust that residents know how to best meet their needs when given the resources. Layla Agbalag, Eagle News, Los Angeles.
Thanks, Lila. Birds in southern Ontario face the threat of getting sick or worse, dying, as the avian flu has been spotted in the region. More on this from Eagle News correspondent Ashley Sackmar.
On Monday, Ontario reported the presence of a second case of highly pathogenic avian influenza, H5N1, in a poultry flock in the province. The first presence of H5N1 in the province this year was reported on Sunday. Both affected poultry flocks are located in southern Ontario. The earliest recent presence of H5N1 in Canada appeared on December last year in Newfoundland and Labrador. Since then, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency has confirmed its presence in 8 other flocks in Nova Scotia and Ontario. Prior to this, the avian influenza's last appearance in the country was in 2016. The bird flu virus is known to spread easily and can cause large-scale illness and death in wild and domestic birds. Avian influenza does not commonly affect people. Only highly pathogenic strains like H5N1 has caused disease in humans. This has happened through contact with infected birds or contaminated surroundings. H5N1, although very rare, has caused serious illness and death in infected humans, with about a 60% mortality rate. Ontario confirms that avian influenza is not a threat to food safety. It should not be seen as a public health concern for people who do not have consistent contact with infected birds. However, those working in the poultry industry are advised to take extra biosecurity precautions to prevent the spread among bird flocks. Ashley Sakmar, M&A International, Toronto, Ontario.
Thank you, Ashley. Correspondent-At-Large Thomas I. Likeness talks about how Ukrainian farmers are facing the global food crisis, the last rail service connecting Russia and Europe coming to a halt, a Kenyan inventor turning trash into treasure, plus a rare birth in Indonesia. Thomas?
And now news and commentary from around the globe. Some sidebar stories now from the Russian invasion of Ukraine. If you were a farmer and bombs were being dropped all around you, what would you do? In Ukraine, Alexander Petkov is in that very situation, and he's doing what he does every spring. He's getting his fields ready to plant crops. It's another day on the back 40 as Petkov climbs into his tractor to till the soil. But what's different this year, you can see here, farmers carrying weapons. Petkov says every night 5 or 6 people from the village stand guard. What's also different this year, the problem of getting harvested grain to market. Petkov says wheat from last fall's crops has been stored over the winter, but it's hard to sell with the war going on. And that means he and his colleagues have little money in their pockets to buy more seed for this year and fuel for their tractors. And that could ultimately lead to a food shortage globally, since a large portion of the Ukrainian crop is exported. David Beasley of the UN World Food Program says, that food shortage has already started.
So now we're talking about a catastrophe on top of a catastrophe, because Ukraine, from the breadbasket of the world now to bread lines. We never would have dreamed anything like this would be possible. And it's not just decimating dynamically Ukraine in the region, but it will have global context impact beyond anything we've seen since World War II.
Rail service between Russia and Europe ended this past week. Here you see the final Allegro Express train from St. Petersburg arriving in Helsinki, the capital of Finland. This was the last rail link between Russia and Europe. The train's operator, VR, says since Russia invaded Ukraine, the service has been sold out, with Russians wanting to get out while it's still possible. And now that train service is gone, travel options for Russians wishing to leave the country are very few. Those who want to get out could take a flight via Turkey or Belgrade, or they could try to exit via road. What to do with all that plastic waste piling up around the world? In Kenya, 30-year-old Nzambi Mati turns it into bricks. Where most of us see garbage, Mati, who's an engineer and inventor, she sees opportunity. Her company, Jijenga Makers, takes this junk, shreds it, and mixes it with sand. It's then fed into an extruder and comes out the other side as bricks. Are these bricks any good?
The Jijenga brick is different and superior to the concrete bricks in 3 forms. Number 1, it's stronger, it's cheaper, it's lighter. It's stronger, it can carry 2 to 7 times the weight. It's cheaper, it's 15% the cost of a normal concrete brick. And it's lighter, it's about half the weight of a normal concrete brick.
Right now, her small factory makes about 1,500 bricks a day. Why aren't we doing something like this on a larger scale? A birth announcement now. A baby Sumatran rhinoceros has been born in an Indonesian sanctuary. You know, this is significant because it's estimated that only 80 of these animals remain in the world. They're found mainly on the Indonesian island of Sumatra and Borneo. The International Union for Conservation of Nature classifies the Sumatran rhino as critically endangered. It's the smallest of all rhino species. Multiple threats have brought them to the brink of extinction. These include poaching and climate change. Rhino horn is often illegally traded for use in traditional Chinese medicine. Back in 7 days. In the meantime, I wish you all peace, joy, and happiness in the ensuing week. Thomas I. Likeness, Correspondent-At-Large, Eagle News.
Thanks, Thomas. Today, we are getting a glimpse on how mushrooms, a multi-million-dollar industry, is contributing to the economy of the United States. Here's Bureau Chief Myla Simbulan on this week's Mind Your Business.
Pennsylvania's mushroom industry leads the nation in production, supporting more than 9,000 jobs and contributing over $1 billion to the country's economy. The state's agriculture is a $132 billion industry that supports over 50,000 farms and more than 500,000 jobs each year. Food manufacturing is one of the Commonwealth's largest sector, and this includes mushroom production. The mushroom industry's economic ecosystem is like its growing ecosystem, complex, interwoven, and highly sophisticated. And here's how it works. Compost is formulated specifically for mushrooms to grow in harvester's train for months to identify and select mushrooms from the growing beds to match the buyer specs. Haulers get a mushroom harvested today on the shelf anywhere in the United States in 1 to 3 days. Large and small machine operators operate systems from front loaders to mushroom packing lines. Controlled environment technicians make sure a mushroom house feels like a temperate forest home for mushrooms all year round. The beauty of all this effort is a delicious product unlike any other that can be added to breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals to add essential nutrients and flavor. Since 2019, the Pennsylvania Farm Bill has invested more than $7 million in the PA Preferred Program to grow support of the overall program, bolster enrollment in the Homegrown by Heroes program, and create opportunities in organic agriculture. These investments help qualified businesses, small, medium, or big, compete in the marketplace and connect with consumers. Myla Simbulan, Eagle News, Swarthmore, Pennsylvania.
Thanks, Myla. On today's learning curve, what is characterized as significant flare coming from the sun has been captured by NASA. Bureau Chief Philip Toledo has the details.
Earlier this week, NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory captured an image of a significant solar flare emitting from our sun. According to NASA's website, solar flares are powerful bursts of energy in the form of electromagnetic radiation coming from the star at the center of our solar system. These flares and similar eruptions can impact radio communications, electric grids, navigation systems, and are a serious risk to harm any humans that are currently in space. The Space Weather Prediction Center classifies solar flares based upon peak emission of X-rays and the corresponding radio blackout. Wednesday's solar flare was classified as X1, or a significant flare, with an R3 or strong radio blackout. The energy travels at the speed of light, so the effects are felt on the sunlit portion of the Earth at the same time the event is observed, which on Monday was mid-afternoon across North and South America. The flare also came from the same area of the sun that has been active with ejections over the past several days. No major incidents were reported on Earth due to the incident. For more information, visit spaceweather.gov. Philip Toledo, Learning Curve, Eagle News.
Thanks, Philip. From solar flare, let's move on to Korean shine. The Korean Culture Center here in DC hosts Boundless, an in-person exhibit showcasing local Korean heritage artists. Here's Bureau Chief Arlene Ocampo on Embassy Files.
Works of 46 Korean heritage artists from the Handmade Artists Association of Greater Washington will be on center stage as the Korean Cultural Center, Washington, D.C. presents a new in-person exhibition, Boundless. The exhibit is based on personal experiences of the featured artists highlighted in 3 sections: spirit, space, and identity. Boundless and Spirit present works that cannot be expressed in words through the use of color and media. These pieces are based on concepts of translation, reflection, and memory. Boundless in Space features works of art that involve the individual and the environment. The artists search ways in which one can construct a space for existence that is not bound by natural or created limitations. Boundless in Identity promotes works of art that explore the self within the conditions of art, language, and existence. The artists reflect on their lives, their identity, and the surrounding world. Boundless is available to view from April 8th through May 16, 2022 at the Korean Cultural Center. Stay tuned to Eagle News for more from the nation's capital. Arlene Ocampo, Embassy Files, Eagle News.
Thank you, Arlene. Coffee usually is for waking us up and activating our brain cells early in the morning, but not always. It could also be for when we relax during the day, sipping a cup while reading a book, or while having a good conversation with a friend. In Texas, a Vietnamese coffee roaster shares with us how a good brew can supplement a day of quiet. Here's Bureau Chief Jane Kathleen Gregorio on Color My World.
Today on Color My World, we learn about a local coffee roaster and cafe that brings the taste of Vietnam to customers here in South Texas. Owner and entrepreneur Christian Wang wants to bring the exotic flavors he grew up with as a child in Vietnam to his customers in South Texas. He recalls how his parents operated a coffee stand in Saigon that specialized in cafe sua, or traditional Vietnamese coffee with condensed milk.
Coffee stand. It's kind of similar to a lemonade stand, but it's a coffee stand. It's not a coffee shop on the side of the street. And that's what I grew up with because I was born in 1993. You know, I see my mom doing a traditional cafe sua, and I see my dad roasting coffee in the pan by hand, you know, old school, manually back then.
Now, as the owner of Saigon Civet Cafe, Christian Wang believes coffee should be savored and enjoyed with calmness and relaxation. Working with a locally owned independent farm in Vietnam, Christian Wang imports hundreds of kilos of coffee beans to Texas that are then roasted in-house at the cafe.
So our whole goal here is that we decide to export our origin directly came from Vietnam, and we try to introduce the Americans with a new taste. Everything in here is handmade. Everything in here is from Vietnam. I try to replicate Saigon, Vietnam as the cafe. You know, coffee is not just the traditional Vietnam coffee. You know, it's about life. It's connect with people. It's connect with science. It's connect with nature. So I just read all about it. I'm like, well, I guess I finally have a different adventure in my life. 2019, I decided to searching for a farmer in Vietnam, and we do have a contract with farmer now, which is we import directly from farmer. Every 3 months, we always have like 250 kilo coming in.
The cafe offers handcrafted coffee, espresso beverages, teas, and smoothies with an Asian twist. From traditional Vietnamese coffee to exotic creations such as coconut milk, ube, and pandan lattes, and even an espresso lemonade. Saigon Civet Cafe also offers traditional Vietnamese cuisine like banh mi sandwiches, rice bowls, pate chaud, and a variety of pastries. By bringing the coffee culture of the Far East to the coastal bend, Christian Wong hopes his cafe can give customers a refuge for relaxation while enjoying a good cup of quality coffee.
I would like to change that to-go culture, you know? That's why every time people actually order like a cup of coffee, the cashier or the barista always encourage customers, you know, to sit. I mean, we don't mind to serve you a ceramic cup and washing dishes after, but from what I believe is, you know, to serve a cup of coffee in the ceramic cup is always tastes better than a to-go cup. Plus, you know, it gave you a little choice, man, to actually, you know, enjoy a cup of coffee.
Jane Kathleen Gregorio, Eagle News, Corpus Christi, Texas.
Thanks, Kathleen. In Papua New Guinea, efforts are underway to promote homegrown arts and culture. More on that from Eagle News correspondent Echo Hortaleza Quinola on Oceania at a Glance.
Today is the launching of Creative Hub Papua New Guinea. Let's all learn more about this project.
Creative Arts Strand leader and pilot Philemon Yalimu initiates the online platform Creative Hub Papua New Guinea, empowering the creative arts industry. The project collaborates with the National Cultural Commission, or NCC, to introduce locally and internationally Papua New Guinea music, fashion, advertising, computer games, software development, and crafts.
As an artist myself, and with the interest of electronics and computer science, when I ventured into graphic design and into computer science, I realized, okay, well, I've got that advantage. How do I use that advantage to help my fellow artists and also patch that gap that used to be there? That prompted me to do a survey, an independent survey, which I did.
NCC Director Stephen Kilanda says this is indeed a step forward.
This Creative Hub is one of the important initiative project that is undertaken by the University of Papua New Guinea and the National Cultural Commission. The arts industry is one of the sleeping giants. That industry itself can develop the economy of this country as well. So we want to showcase to other countries that PNG is unique through arts and culture.
During the launch at the APEC House, Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Honorable E.C. Henry Leonard, commits 20,000 kina to the Creative Hub project.
And definitely, it gives us a platform on which we can expose our natural talents in terms of paintings, and even other artwork. ICT is the way forward for anything and everything in this world. Without ICT, you can't promote, you can't expose, and you can't go into whatever scale or whatever programs that you need to achieve. I believe it will be successful. From the onset of this program, I'm already making a commitment of 20,000 kina towards this project.
It is undeniable that these days, technology is the primary source of communication, and with Creative Hub PNG, the avenue for sharing opportunities, job creations, export earnings, and inclusive social development is thus widened.
Echo Hortaleza Quinola, Oceania at a Glance, Eagle News.
Thanks, Echo. Filipino Heritage Night hosted by the Los Angeles Clippers is back. Let's find out from Eva and Alan Basaliahe how fans celebrated this year. Here's EBC Sports International.
Number 8,
3 and number 5 Western Conference teams, the Los Angeles Clippers and Utah Jazz, square off at the freshly minted Crypto.com arena.
6'4" guard Jordan Clarkson is well acquainted with LA, playing for the Lakers for the early part of his career before eventually finding a spot on the Utah Jazz squad. And being of Filipino-American descent, the timing of Utah versus Los Angeles couldn't be better for him.
Or for the thousands of fans who won't only enjoy NBA action, but who are also on hand to celebrate the annual Clippers Filipino Heritage Night.
It's very overwhelming as again, and I'm just super happy that I got to sing the Filipino National Anthem today. Since I was young, when I was 2, I loved music, and I also played the piano. Well, not that good though, but now I play better. And when I was singing Part of Your World, like 2 years ago, that's when I discovered that I could actually sing. I think I just need to work on more Tagalog songs because I only just know 3 or 4, and my diction.
I really can't, absorb everything that I just sang a while ago, 5 minutes ago, and I thought we were just having a blocking, but it is what it is. I really had fun. That was a totally different experience, and being here in Crypto Arena, wow. I just love being in LA the moment I got here because if you may ask, I'm also a part-time actor and a singer in the Philippines. That's why I chose living here in LA and trying my luck here. And yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. Just keep on supporting the Filipinos, the Filipino artists here in LA. We deserve to be known globally.
They invited me to come sing the US National Anthem since I'm Filipino American. And I came out and the energy was great. I've been wanting to do this for the longest time and I'm finally here. So it's kind of like a dream come true for me to be on that court, just to be singing the national anthem and looking into the eyes of the players and just in the middle of everything. And it's an amazing feeling, just me singing and I see the whole crowd and all the players just kind of swaying and listening to me sing. It's such an amazing energy and I love it. I think Filipinos are kind of embedded in the whole Los Angeles community already, so it's great because when I come out here, because of that community, everyone's supporting each other, and I think it's important because it gives the next generation an opportunity to really make something of themselves, and that's what it's all about, not just the Filipino dream, but the American dreams, to really better yourself and, take your dreams to whatever level you can.
There's so many Filipinos over here in California, straight up, not just in LA, so I feel like just a chance for us to show a little more of what we are to the world will just be a great opportunity for everyone to just get a peek more into us, and because we just love spreading love and we love accepting love as well, just a love cycle.
We've had Filipino heritage for the past, I couldn't even tell you how many years, at least 15 years. So it keeps growing, keeps getting bigger and bigger, and we're able to introduce folks that don't even understand it.
I got a lot of Filipino friends back at home, so it's a great group of people, so good vibe tonight.
I actually have a good amount of Filipino friends, and I'm really cool with all of them. They're all great personalities, so I'm just really thankful to have them.
And I'm sure they try to feed you more than you need.
Oh yeah, for sure. They have great food, great food.
We have a Filipino American on the Jazz, but we have the Clippers here. Who are you rooting for? Do you have any predictions?
I'm always rooting for Filipino Americans, but I'm from Los Angeles, so I gotta root for the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? But it's fine. It's cool growing up here in LA as a Filipino. You gotta represent for sure.
I'm feeling the energy of everybody, even though y'all just normally interview me, so it's just it's gonna be crazy. Clippers, baby, Philippines.
As ready as Clippers fans were for their team to deliver the win, there was little to be optimistic about for most of the game, as Utah's active scoring and defense built a substantial 25-point lead almost midway through the third quarter. But as what all too often happens in the NBA, the pendulum can swing in the opposite direction at any moment, and that's exactly what happened in this instance. Steadily, LA chipped away at the lead, eventually finding themselves within striking distance late in the fourth. The Clippers finally overtook the Jazz around the 3:30 mark. However, what ensued next was a seesaw battle of lead changes, all the way down to 20 seconds left in the game. But it was at this point when LA was able to put Utah away for good.
It was a real nail-biter here at Crypto.com Arena as the Los Angeles Clippers edge out the Utah Jazz by a score of 121 to 115. With only a handful of regular season games left, both teams look to accelerate efforts in order to secure a playoff berth.
But regardless of what jersey fans wore, everyone came out on top because Filipino Heritage Night brought the energy and fun to the entire crowd. Yvonne Allen, EBC Sports International, Los Angeles.
Thanks, Yvonne Allen. This week is a special week. Do you want to know why? Because we are invited by two awesome friends from Silver Spring, Maryland into their kitchen as they show us how to make some cookies. What flavor? Cheesecake cookies and cream. So put on those aprons and let's bake with Reidenel and Serene on this week's Behind the Counter. Thanks to our friends Reidenel and Serene. Great recipe. And thank you all for watching. View, like, share our other shows. City Limits with Alan Basiliaje. Connected with Dr. David. Take a seat and join us with Anna Kui. Plate Date with Mike Hudson and friends. Plus, Journey, Stories of Filipinos in Canada with Kathleen Cruz. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Eagle News Live. I am Ralph Cornell. Happy weekend, everyone.